Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel Mathematical Lens by Namita. We'll continue with chapter number 2, Lines and Angles of grade 6, the new NCERT textbook, that is Ganit Prakash. In the previous video, we learned about how to measure angles from an unlabeled protractor. Now in this video, we are going to learn about a labeled protractor and how can we measure angles using a labeled protractor, and why does it have two sets of degrees, like two sets of numbers, right, starting from 0 to 180. All those things we are going to learn in this video. Also, I would like to share that I have made a separate video of how to measure angles using a protractor and what care you need to take while measuring which side you should measure, from right side or left side, and which circle you should see, inner and or outer circle. Right, so let us start with this video. So now you can see this is a protractor which is in your geometry box. It has markings on it, right? If you compare with the previous protractor we saw, there was no labeling. Here you can see the markings. Because it is a semicircle, it is 0 to 180. You can see the inner scale here, 0 to 180, and this is the outer scale where 0 to 180 again. Right, so there are two sets of numbers in the protractor. Why is it so? We'll understand through examples. Name the different angles in the given figure and write their measures. So here, if you can see, there are so many rays and so many angles being formed. So let us try to write them one by one. First, if we take measure angle O, U, O, T. This is the vertex, O is the vertex. So measure angle U, O, T, if we see, then it is equal to, you can see the line over here, we are seeing the outer scale, so it is 20 degree, right? Then if we see the next angle UOS, here you can see it is between 50 and 60, so it is 55 degree. UOS is equal to 55 degree. Then we are still seeing the outer scale UOR. If we see, it is between 80 and 85, so it is UOR is equal to 85 degree. Right? Now you see the next angle. We are seeing the single angles first. UOQ. UOQ. See the measure, the outer circle, because we are starting from this side. So 145. So measure angle UOQ is equal to 45 degree. Right? Now let us see next U. So this is a straight angle. UOP, we are not writing that. Now let us start from P. We take this side. So POQ. Now if your arrow is facing on the right side, you will see the inner scale, right? If you see the outer scale, it is wrong. So this is between 30 and 40. So it is POQ is, angle POQ is equal to 35 degree. Then if we see the next one, POR, we are seeing the inner scale, so between 90 and 100. So angle POR is equal to 95 degree. Correct? Now we see the next angle POS. POS, and we see the inner scale. So it is between 120 and 130. So it is 125. POS is equal to 125. Correct? Now we see POT. POT. So if you see the inner scale, it is exactly at 160 degrees. So angle POT is equal to 160 degree. Correct. Now we have seen all single angles starting from the left side and also the right side. Now we see the combination of two angles. So if we take UOS together, right? So this we already measured. It is 20, and this is 55 total. So UOS, we have measured this. Okay. So we have seen all the angles. If we take this as a baseline, this O ray OT or ray OP. And actually, if you take the other baseline like OT or OQ, then there are many other angles being formed, right? So you can measure those angles also by counting. Let us see further what have they asked. Now, did you include angles such as TOQ? So what I was talking about is TOQ. TOQ. We did not include the angles here. We took only the baseline as the ray OU and OP. So measure this TOQ. How to measure this angle, this type of angle? Which set of markings did you use? Yeah, now if you see here, the protractor is already kept. This is the baseline. This is not the baseline. OT is not the baseline. So what we do here, we say this angle 20 degree, and on this ray it is 145. Right? So we can measure this angle as 145 minus 20 degree, which is equal to 125 degree. Right? So angle TOQ, I'm just showing it again. This is the 10, this is 20. The baseline is not 0, 20. So we subtract that 20, and this is 145. So 145 minus 20, the answer will be 125. Okay. So which set of markings did you use here? So we use the outer scale, right? So you can tick mark, we use the outer scale. And you can write the answer as outer scale. Okay. What is the measure of angle TOS? Now let us see TOS. So same thing will do. This is 20 degree and S, this is 55 degree. So we subtract and we get the answer as 55 minus 20, which is equal to 35 degrees, right? So can you use the numbers marked to find the angle without counting the number of markings? Yes, so we can use without counting. We have the numbers, we can do that, and we can use subtraction, right? So they have explained it here, and they have asked a question, can subtraction be used? So we already used subtraction, so we can write, yes, we can use subtraction, right? Here OT and OS, they pass through the numbers 20 and 55, I already explained. So you can subtract 50 minus 20, so the answer is 35 degree. So let us see how can we measure angles directly without having to subtract, right? So for that, you need to place the protractor. So the center is on the vertex. This center, it should be on your vertex, and this baseline on the ray, right? And depending on the ray facing whichever side, you have to measure. Like this ray is facing on the right side, so you start from 0 and you see the inner scale. So here this measure angle AOB, you can say what is the measure of this angle? You can see the markings over here, that is 80 degree, right? So without subtracting what we did earlier, we can just change the position of the protractor and match the baseline with one of the ray and the vertex with the center and exactly get the measure of the angle. You need to be very careful with the inner or the outer scale. You just see the arrow, which wherever the arrow is facing, start from 0. So if the arrow is facing on the right side, start from 0 means use the inner scale. Suppose your arrow is facing on the left side, you will use the outer scale. That's the only care you need to take. Otherwise, it's very easy to use the protractor and find out the angle. Make your own protractor. So let us see how to make our own protractor. So for that we need a circle. You can take any circle of convenient radius, right? So circle, as you know, it is a full turn, that is 360 degree. Now we'll fold the circle into like this from the center. You will fold the circle into two equal parts. That is, you'll get the semicircle, right? So half of it is like 360, full circle is 360, and half of it will be 180, right? So here it is given 0 degree, you write it here, and then on the left hand side 180 degree, half of 360. So measure of a circle is half of a full turn. So the measure of a turn, that is equal to half of what we will write, half of 360 you need to write. Okay, so you'll write 360 degree over here. First in this video, I'm going to just show you the steps, and then I'll make another video of making this protractor. I'll make along with you. Okay. So you can write 180 degree on the left hand corner. So this is 0 degree. This is 180 degree. Now further what we will do, we will fold the semicircle sheet into half. So once again you fold it into half from this crease line. You can see the fold is here, it will make a crease, right? So the measure of a quarter of a circle, that is 1/4 of the full turn. So what is 1/4 of the full turn? 1/4 of full turn will be 90 degree, means 360 divided by 4 will be 90 degree. So, or you can also say it as 1/4 turn of the full or half of a half turn. That is half of 180 is also 90. So what we did actually here, we took a full circle, we divided into half, we got 180, and further we divided that half into half. So half of half is 90 degree here. That is half of half means 1/4. So here we mark 90 degree at the top. Where the crease line you get, you can mark 90 degree. Now fold this sheet, the 90 degree sheet, again, right? So when folded, this is 1/8. This crease line you can see it is 1/8. 1/8 of the full turn. You are getting 8 parts of the full turn, or 1/8 of 360, or you can say 1/4 of 180, or you can say half of 90, because this was 90 degree. You are divided into half. So what is half of 90 is 45 degree, right? So you write 45 degree over here. The new crease formed gives us measure of 45 degree. So on the right hand side, we will write 45 degree. 0, 45, 90. Now this is half between 90 and 180. So either what you can do, this is 45 more. So 90 plus 45, you can write 135. Or you can subtract 45 because these are 4 angles which we have got, the 4 crease line, it is all 45 degree. So either you subtract 180 from 45 from 180, you get 135, or 290 you can add 45, you get 135, right? So now you have got 0 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree, 135 degree, and 180. Now we will again continue with another half fold as shown in the figure, right? So this is the half. So we get an angle of measure. Now what is half of 45? This two parts. So what is half of 45 will be 22.5, right? So now you can mark all the angles over here. So these are the letters A, B, C, D. You can give your own names and you will mark all the angles. So we start with 0 degree. This is 22.5. Then 45. You can add 22.5 to 45 and you get 67.5. Then you can add 22.5 to 90. You will get 112.5. And here 135 we had already written, right? So you can add 22.5 and you get 157.5. This is how you will mark all the angles in the semicircle. So now our protractor, the handmade protractor is ready. So let us see, there is a question based on this protractor. It is given that angle AOB is equal to angle BOC. This is angle AOB is equal to BOC is equal to COD is equal to DOE is equal to EOF is equal to FOE is equal to GOH and is equal to HOI. And what is it, each measures? Each measures we already found out it is 22.5, right? But why are we getting this as 22.5? So the reason behind this is we are actually dividing it into halves again and again. We started with 360, we divided it into half, we made a crease and we got 180 degree. Then we again divided it into half, we got 90, half of 90 is 45 and half of 45 is 22.5. So actually we folded it so many times so it becomes 1/16 of 360. So here 1/16 of 360. So why are we getting this? Because actually what we are doing is we are bisecting the angle. Bisecting means dividing the angle into two equal parts. If you see from the beginning, if I show you, we folded this, we got half. Again we folded, we got 1/4. Again we folded, we got 1/8. So 8 parts. And again one more times we fold, so we got 16 parts, 1/16th part. 1/16 we are getting, right? So what are we doing at each step? We are folding it into halves, and this process of getting half of a given angle, it is known as bisecting the angle. The word bisecting means dividing it into two equal parts, and this line that bisects the given angle, it is known as the angle bisector. So here in this case, if you see the picture, all the lines which are drawn here, the dotted lines, the crease which you get while folding, they are all angle bisector. So this is another new concept which you have learned through this handmade protractor, right? So we learned about labeled protractor in this video, how to use the inner and the outer scale, when to use, and from which side you should measure the angles. We learned how to make our own protractor, and we also learned about the angle bisector. Now based on this, all the concepts, there is a figure it out exercise which we will cover up in the next video. Till then, thank you.